My top 5 teams in the PCFL, I'm going to go with number 5, the Solano Ravens. They had a nice home win versus the Tri-County Gladiators. That makes them my number 5 team. Number 4, I'm going with the Solano Chiefs. They had a nice road victory over the Delta Vipers. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Modesto Raiders. They had a nice home victory over the Central Valley Rams. That makes them my number 3 team. Number 2, I'm going to go up north, Shasta Longhorns. They had a great come-from-behind victory versus the North State Renegades. All right, my number 1 team in the PCFL, I'm going to go with the Placer County Bears. 14-0 win over the Twin City Cougars. They are the defending champions, and they are my number 1 team. All right, my bottom 3 teams in the PCFL are the Richmond War Angels. Until their offense scores some points and their defense stops somebody, they're going to remain number 3. Number 2, the Silicon Valley Hawks. I know they scored a couple touchdowns versus the Vikings, but until they prove something, they're going to stay number 2. And the not-so-number 1 team in the league, I'm going to pick Tri-County Gladiators. They didn't have a full team versus Solano Ravens, and until their full team shows up and they win a game, they're going to be my bottom team. How about you, Nick?
All right, Ken, my top 5 of the week. Starting off with number 5, goes to the Bears, 14-0 win over the Cougars. My number 4 pick goes to the Knights, 22-6 win over the War Angels. My number 3 pick goes to the Ravens, 24-6 win over the Gladiators. And number 2 goes to the Longhorns, 21-17 close win over the Renegades. And my number 1 overall of the week goes to the Chiefs, 26-19 fourth quarter win over the Vipers. Very close win, but solidifying their spot for the top notch. All right, Ken, starting off with my bottom 3 goes to the Cougars, 0-14 loss to the Bears. My number 2 bottom team of the week goes to the Warriors, a 12-7 tough loss to the Panthers, but still number 2. And my number 1 goes to the Hawks. Very close game. 13-20 loss to the Vikings. Just showing the level of competitiveness in the PCFL this week. Let's hopefully these 3 teams could turn around next week.
All right, now on to our weekly predictions. Last week I was 5-3, and Nick was
4-4.
So that makes me a game ahead. Let's check out this week's predictions. Game number 1, War Angels at Vipers. The Vipers are favored by 3 points. Okay, I'm going to have to go with the Vipers. I know they're underdogs, but I'm still going to pick them. I still think they're going to beat the War Angels by probably more than a touchdown. What do you think, Nick?
I'm going with the War Angels this week. Running back Curtis Berry for the War Angels. I'm looking for him to have a big game.
Game number 2, Chiefs at Ravens. Ravens are favored by 2.5 points.
I picked the Ravens. I'm looking for Coach Bill Carlin to have a big game on home field advantage this week.
I, too, will take the home team. I'm taking the Ravens. Game number 3, Renegades at Warriors. The Renegades are favored by 4.5 points. All right, I'm going to go with the road team. I'm going to go with the Renegades. I think they're going to win this one pretty convincingly. They need to win this year.
Hey, I'm going with the Sacramento Warriors for this one. They lost last week, but they're going to bounce back and turn around this week.
All right. Game number 4, the Rams at Panthers. The Panthers are favored by 5 points.
I'm going with the Panthers. QB Mike Nichols is going to have a big game again this week.
I, too, believe Mike Nichols will have a big game. The Panthers will win big. The Longhorns at Cougars. The Longhorns are favored by 6.5 points. All right, I'm going to choose the Longhorns. They are the road team, but I do think they're going to win big. The Cougars haven't scored any points so far this year, so I'm going to take the Longhorns.
I am as well going with the Longhorns for week 2. I think that they're number 2 in my top 5, and next week they're going to take the number 1 spot.
Okay, let's check them out. Game number 6, Bears at Raiders. The Bears are favored by 8.5 points.
This next game, I picked the Placer County Bears. I believe they're going to score more than 14 their previous week and light up the scoreboard as far as the offensive side. 4 or 5 touchdowns. Let's see what they could do on defense.
Well, I initially picked the Bears to win this game and cover the spread. I'm going to go with the Raiders. The Bears will still win, but the Raiders will cover. I see a game, touchdown or less.
We'll see.
All right. Game number 7, the Knights at Vikings. The Vikings are favored by 5.5 points. Okay, I'm going to take the Vikings on this one. I think they're going to win by more than a touchdown over the Knights. Just a hunch. What do you think, Nick?
I think the Knights are going to be the first owner of the PCFL blowout. They're going to win convincingly in this one.
Wow, okay. And the final game of the week, Hawks at Gladiators. This is a pick'em game.
All right, for our last and final game, we have the Hawks at the Gladiators, the pick'em game, and I am picking the Tri-County Gladiators for this one.
I too will pick the Gladiators. I know they are my last team in the league, but they are the home team. I think more players will show up, and I think they will win this game.
All right, that's a wrap of the PCFL Hour, brought to you by SemiProTV. Catch us next week, Friday, 8 o'clock, for the Week 2 games. Week 2 will be very interesting with the storm rolling in Northern California, bringing the rain and making the games real interesting as far as the ground games.
That is correct. Made this show pretty interesting as well. It's raining on us.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. All right, guys, follow us on Twitter, www.twitter.com/SemiProTV. As well, join the nation. Come on, folks, SemiProNation.com. Also, follow us on the forum, SemiPro Nation Forum. Ask us questions about the show, and follow our weekly picks as well. Thanks, guys.